Welcome to TarantulasDreamTV. You are watching a previously recorded broadcast. Tune in every Monday and Wednesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Instagram at TarantulasDreamTV for new episodes. And remember, it is a weird, weird world.
It is intended for the entertainment and instruction of broad-minded adults only, and should not be played to or sold to minors under any circumstances whatsoever. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the floating pie pan in the sky at Groom Lake Analog Recordings. Welcome to TarantulasDreamTV. Now here's your host, Samba.
Hello everybody, welcome to another broadcast of Tarantulas Dream TV. I am your host, Glenn fucking Danzig. I've come to grace you all with my presence. I know I'm from New Jersey, but I still speak like I have a southern accent because they call me the evil Elvis. Welcome to another episode of Tarantulas Dream TV. Tonight it gets spooky, spooktacular. Hello, Halloween. Yes, anyway, I'm going to stop talking in my fake Glenn Danzig voice. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tarantulas Dream TV. I am your host, Glenn Danzig / Samba sometimes. And welcome to the Tarantulas Dream TV Halloween Spooktacular. Tonight we're going to be talking about some scary ghost adventures with myself and a guest, a co-host for this evening. So I'm going to bring him on the phone probably in about 5 minutes or so. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the show tonight. I am super excited for this week. I've got a special guest lined up for Wednesday as well. And this person I'm very excited to talk to. I'm not going to give the full Monty away or anything, but they are part of the ghost hunting community here in Tucson, Arizona. So it's going to be a fantastic little show on Wednesday, but it's not Wednesday, it's Monday, so let's get into the Monday stuff. I hope everyone had a good weekend. It is very nice weather today. I was very excited to see earlier on that we were going to have some rain and that the temperature was finally going to break and we were going to get a nice little cool blast over here. I'm a little disappointed that it does look like it's going to start warming up again in like a week or something like that. So that's kind of a pain in the butt, but let's enjoy it while we can. But then after the little warming up of the week, it's going to get cool again. So it's time to put on those sweaters, those hoodies, your long pants, your long johns, if you're working at a Long John Silver or if you're working in like a lighthouse or something. But yeah, let's enjoy this cool weather. It's finally fall, finally heading into winter, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get into some headlines for the night. So, of course, the big headline for this evening is we have a new Supreme Court judge, but I'm not going to get into that tonight. I feel like a lot has been said about what's going on right now with the Supreme Court, and I don't particularly want to engage in that tonight. I want to keep this light. I want to keep this fun, maybe scary, and of course, reality is scarier than fiction a lot of times, but tonight, let's focus on other things. So, the first headline is coming from NASA, actually. NASA's Sophia discovers water on sunlit surface of the moon. NASA's Stratospheric Observatory for Infrared Astronomy, or SOFIA, has confirmed for the first time water on the sunlit surface of the moon. This discovery indicates that water may be distributed across the lunar surface and not limited to cold, shadowed places. SOFIA has detected water molecules in Clavius Crater, one of the largest craters visible from Earth, located in the moon's southern hemisphere. Previous observations of the moon's surface detected some form of hydrogen, but were unable to distinguish between water and its close chemical relative, hydroxyl, or just hydroxyl. I don't know why there was a weird pause there. Data from this location reveal water in concentrations of 100 to 412 parts per million, roughly equivalent to a 12-ounce bottle of water, trapped in a cubic meter of soil spread across the lunar surface. The results are published in the latest issue of Nature Astronomy. So pretty exciting news, I suppose. I know that anytime NASA kind of gives us the go, the pre-announcement excitement with big announcement on Monday about some crap in space. That I think they've done that enough times that I think a lot of people who tend to kind of get excited over the prospect of what NASA could be announcing, we feel a little crestfallen. We feel a little disappointed. So NASA discovering water on the moon, I think it's cool. It could potentially be a big deal. The implications are mind-boggling, I guess. But ultimately, I mean, this kind of seemed like sort of a little blip in the radar of the news cycle today. But there you go. They found water on the sunlit surface of the moon. So take that for what you will. And our next headline comes from apnews.com. James Randi, dazzling magician and skeptic, dies at 92. James Randi, a magician who later challenged spoonbenders, mind readers, and faith healers with such ferocity that he became regarded as the country's foremost skeptic, has died, his foundation announced. He was 92. The James Randi Educational Foundation confirmed the death, saying simply that its founder succumbed to age-related causes on Tuesday. Entertainer, genius, debunker, atheist, Randi was them all. He began gaining attention not long after dropping out of high school to join the carnival. As the amazing Randi, he escaped from a locked coffin submerged in water and from a straitjacket as he dangled over Niagara Falls. So rest in peace, James Randi. Despite, I guess, I'm not quite a skeptic. I wouldn't call myself a skeptic. I have skeptical feelings, and I like to come at the paranormal from a sort of a rational perspective. But I still respect people like James Randi, who really just tried to find the truth. If he was able to find something paranormal, he was would have been one of the first people to kind of make it known and to change his views. And so I can applaud someone like James Randi for what they were doing. But anyways, that's headlines for the night. So let's get into the meat, the pumpkin of the night, I suppose, or the jack-o'-lantern of the night. I hope you all enjoyed the little jack-o'-lantern. I bought this over at the old the Summit Hut over here. It came with the green flames already. I didn't have to pay extra for it. So there you go. There's our jack-o'-lantern for the week. So right before I bring my guest on the line, I'm going to open up the phone lines for everyone else as well. So it's open lines for the entire evening. If you have a spooky story, if you have anything you'd like to share with the Tarantulas Dream TV audience, phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. This is the time of the year to get spooky. Tell us your spooky stories, your spooky experiences. Let's all share in the fear together. But for now, I'm going to grab my guest on the line over here. I'm happy to have my guest come onto the show. We're going to talk ghost stories. We're going to talk spooky adventures. My good friend over here, that I've never talked to before. This is the first time. Old Dusty Brains. Old Dusty Brains, are you there on the line?
Oh, that's me.
There you go.
Out the grave.
Fresh out
How
the
you doing?
Fresh out the
How
grave.
You doing, Danzig?
I'm just fine. So I ditched my my sort of southern Danzig voice at the beginning of the show, but you can still refer to me as Glenn or Danzig, whatever you'd prefer. Glenn Danzig, he's evil Elvis. So of course he's got sort of this southern voice, sometimes southern drawl, even though I think isn't he from New Jersey?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason
yeah.
he picked up this like southern drawl, I don't know. But he's from Jersey, I don't know. Jersey. But I'm not going to talk like I have a Jersey accent either. How you doing, old Dusty Brains?
Oh, pretty good. Just, getting excited for the old Hallows Eve, where I will probably not be doing anything at all, but hey, tis the season. Gotta still feel a little spooky somehow. So I appreciate you having a themed show having a little fun week of it. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm grateful to put on this Halloween theme spooktacular, as I've been calling it. Even though I don't know, it doesn't seem quite as much of a spooktacular. It's just a fun little week of some Halloween themed adventures with myself and some guests. So I'm glad to have you on the show tonight. So yeah, it sounds like you're not going to be doing anything for Halloween. That's kind of a bummer. I was stoked earlier on in the year when I saw that Halloween was going to be on a Saturday. I thought maybe it'd be like I don't know, extra fun for some reason because it was going to be on a weekend. But the rest of the year's kind of turned out a real big turd. So yeah, I guess Halloween is kind of, I don't know, it's not necessarily canceled, but I mean, I'm hoping maybe people in the comments will have some ideas what to do for Halloween when you can't really go out. Or you don't want to go out anyway. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I talked to all my buddies at the cemetery, and usually we all rise from our graves on Halloween. But
oh yeah,
it's a pass this year. Honestly, it's kind of just we'll just stay underground this year. We'll see. We'll wait till things pan out.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I know being part of the living dead, maybe something like an American election doesn't really faze you because you're already, maggots already eating at your cheekbones and stuff. Who knows? You have bigger fish to fry than an election, but there's.
So you would think,
Yeah. I don't know. If you were, maybe we'll get a little political. If you were alive today, Dusty Brains, who you throwing your vote behind, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I would just say that we are a doomed planet. You are all doomed.
Yeah.
That's me trying to do my best Simpsons impression there, but I'm a little rusty. It's been a couple centuries since I've watch The Simpsons.
Oh, that's fine. Well, don't worry about it. They haven't gotten much better since you've passed away. So don't even worry your brains out or anything. So old Dusty Brains, you got any spooky adventures you want to share with the Tarantulas Dream TV audience? I figured someone who's part of the living dead might have some otherworldly experiences, either pre-dead or post-dead. I don't know. Anything you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, let's see. I've had a bit some paranormal activities in my day. I guess now my story isn't really gonna work with my character when I said I died a few centuries ago, because I'm about to talk about going online. But hey, whatever, just suspend your belief a little bit here.
All right, yeah. Just everybody, just pretend this person is either alive and well. It didn't die centuries ago, or I don't know. Use your imagination. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dusty Brains.
Yeah, I didn't think that one all the way through. Anyway, yeah. So let's see. It started back when I was in middle school, actually. As a millennial, I had many AIM friends. Friends on the World Wide Web that I'd never met, and one of them was she was really into Wicca,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that was like a really hot thing for a minute, I feel like every 13-year-old had one friend who's into Wicca, which really just meant that they went to Toys R Us and bought a Ouija board, and then they were like, yeah, I'm like a witch,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Which and as a side note, real quick, with the Ouija board, if anyone was on the airwaves when I had my occult practitioner Dale on, he described the Ouija board as the gateway to the occult in a way. So don't mess around with the Ouija board, even if you're a 13-year-old. Aspiring Wiccan girl in high school or middle school or something. I don't know. But sorry, continue, Dusty Brain.
Oh, yeah. No, I absolutely agree with your buddy Dale there, because I think, it kind of shocks me that, I don't know if they still, Toys R Us isn't even a thing anymore, but that they just carry these things at toy stores, because she was talking about how she was talking to people who've passed, like her relatives, and then she was talking about how she was talking to Kurt Cobain, and obviously as a 13-year-old, I was like, whoa, cool, I want to talk to Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, that really unlocked the door for you over there. You're just like, wow, you can talk to the old Cobain over there. Let's see what's going on with old Kurt. But
what? And she was like, yeah, we talk all the time. And I was like, okay, cool, I want a Ouija board, and I want to be friends with Kurt Cobain. So I went to Toys R Us, bought a Ouija board, and then me and my friend were like, okay, well, since my friend gets to talk to Kurt Cobain, let's give it a shot, you know? And we asked her, like, okay, so how are you supposed to do it? And we tried being like, okay, is Kurt Cobain in the room? And it would just go to no every time. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm not grunge enough. But, you know, it stayed under my bed. And so, you know, a couple sleepovers, we try and test it out. And it was, like, freaky. But then, you know, your curiosity kind of builds. And I just kept wanting to try it more and more and more and see who was there, who I was talking to. And then, then there was this one spirit. I can't even really say his name without kind of getting I get goosebumps, you know, just thinking about it. So let's say his name was Fred, okay?
All right.
And so the spirit Fred, you know, he kept spelling his name out. And then every time I would use the Ouija board, now it was becoming like, you know, a couple times a week that I would just start using it by myself. And then the same spirit would come all the time, spell out his name, you know, have something to say. I honestly don't really remember what kind of stuff he was saying. But then what kind of took it to a new level is that I started, like, hearing messages from the spirit even after I'd put away the Ouija board.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was like, okay, this isn't a joke anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It started off as like I'm a curious 13-year-old. I want to see what a Ouija board is all about. And, it turned into this. I want to say this probably went on for maybe like 6 months where, you know, the spookiest thing that I remember happening was being like, you know, okay, if I'm not, you know, am I just making this up? But if you're really listening to me, like, I have a pencil right in front of me and I want you to move it. And then right in front of my eyes, the pencil just started spinning around. Like there was no breeze or anything, you know?
All right. So
that's when I was like,
let me stop you right there, Pizza Pie. So you're telling me that you asked a request from your friend, Fred. You asked Fred to move you said a pencil?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And that actually happened. You had a pencil moved?
Yeah, like right in front of my eyes, you know? It was just like started spinning around. And then, you know, that was kind of just made me, and of course, you know, at that age, I can't go to the school counselor and be like, hey, what's up? There's this ghost that won't leave me alone, you know?
Yeah.
So it kind of became this whole huge thing, and I kept talking to this internet friend and saying, like, hey, you're a witch, help me out here. Like, what am I supposed to do, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And she gave me some advice of, like, well, you should go to what do you say?
Pizza Pie, you still there? Oh, no. Pizza Pie, can you hear me? Oh, did Fred get Pizza Pie? Dusty Brains? Oh no, I think something got old Dusty Brains over here. All right, Tarantulas Dream TV audience. That was not a gag. That was not a goof. Something happened to our good friend Pizza Pie on the line. Let me or Dusty Brains. Let me try it again. Dusty Brains, you still there? No. Oh, Fred, good friend Dusty Brains, must have gotten eaten by old Fred over there. Let me try to get them back on the line real quick. Maybe it was just a little, digital goof coming over here. But let me try it again. Let me see what happens if I get them back on the line. Sometimes the old gremlins in the machine get us. Let me see. Hello, Dusty Brains, you there?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that was crazy. Old Dusty Brains. You were right in the middle of telling us about talking to your friend over AIM, AOL Instant Messenger, and you're getting into the gory details, and suddenly it just kind of cut you off. Like Fred was still listening to you and kind of just reached through the phone and muted you or something. I don't know. That was kind of spooky.
I don't know. I got the heebie-jeebies right there from ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, and again, Tarantulas Dream TV audience, that was not a goof. That wasn't made up. That wasn't scripted. Fred really decided that was the end of this story. But I'm sorry. Continue with your story, Dusty Brains. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, strange. So she was telling me, well, yeah, you should go get a blessing at a church. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm not Christian, and I'm not really going to, like, just ask my parents one day to just take me to a church. That's a little suspicious.
It's a little sus, yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, this kind of turned into, honestly, I mean, it's so strange to talk about it now because it feels so far removed from my life, that it's like, it's hard to even remember that this is my own story. But, yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, it was really quite traumatic to be 13 and feel like you have a ghost haunting you. And obviously you can't really tell people or else they're going to put you in the old loony bin, So.
Oh yeah, they'll put you right away. Oh yeah.
And
you're gone.
Especially they'd be like, oh, so you're hearing voices, you're schizophrenic,
Yeah.
So yeah, then it kind of kept getting to the point where the voice was just like always kind of there, and I would start saying things like, okay, can you please leave me alone? Like, I want to be alone now. And then it was very persistent, like, no, I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
And so then my friend suggested that I just have to be, like, really, really assertive and start doing meditations where I'm, like, I'm visualizing a brick wall.
Yeah.
So that way, that I'm building up a brick wall so that he can't enter my mental space anymore. So yeah, I mean, I just kept doing that over and over. It's kind of hazy. I don't remember like an exact day where I was like, okay, it's over. But eventually, after like several months, he started going away, and I threw out my Ouija board because it was honestly very terrifying. And again, like with what your friend Dale said, we want to think that these are just kind of fun little toys. And maybe if you don't, I didn't even go in necessarily like a full believer of these things. So I think that's also something to note. Yeah. That, people might dismiss this whole thing as like, well, you thought about it and that was enough. But it really, it opens the floodgates to, a lot of energies and a lot of uninvited guests, I guess you could say. Yeah. So just my word to the listener is to just be very cautious of the things that you are opening up your energetic field to and what you invite in and the presence that you allow into your space, because getting it out of your space is much harder than it is for them to enter. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I think that opens up the conversation a little bit in regards to the idea of intention, to the idea that the Ouija board is just a conduit. It might be produced by Mattel or some kind of toy manufacturer or something, but ultimately the Ouija board isn't really the point of it. It's kind of just the tool to communicate potentially with spirits or I guess demons or something. I would imagine, exactly, if your intention is to communicate with a spirit or an angel, a demon, whatever, that you could use any kind of a physical tool or spiritual tool like meditation or like I said, sigil magic or something like that. The Ouija board is just almost it's kind of like Dale said, sort of the floodgate. It's kind of just it's really opens up the entire spectrum for these kind of encounters and whatnot. Now, before we get to the song of the night, I do have to ask about this Ouija board. You said you threw it away, so did you just threw it in the trash? Oh, yeah. I had it hiding under my bed for a long time, and then I can remember this moment more clearly than ever when, like, my family wasn't home, and I can remember even, like, my hands shaking as I, like, went to pull it out from under the bed, and I walked out to the dumpster and just threw the whole thing in there. Wow. And I will say that from what I hear when it comes to a Ouija board, for anyone who's listening right now and maybe even has a Ouija board or who's contemplating using one, experimenting with the Ouija board, that from what I hear, the best way to get rid of a Ouija board is to either bury it. I hear to bury it is a good way to do it. You don't want to give it to anyone else. You don't you don't want to destroy it.
physically, like tearing it apart or burning it. You don't want to do anything like that. You want to keep it intact, and at the very least bury it far away from your home. And if you can, have someone else take it away from you, someone who's not connected to the Ouija board experience at all. If they're just kind of a third party between you and the Ouija board. But definitely don't destroy your Ouija boards if you've used one. If you haven't used one, I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess you can do whatever you want. But if you use one, don't burn it. I don't know. Don't do what Dusty Brains did over here and throw it in the trash, because who knows what it could have happened. Maybe Fred is still just hanging out. I don't know, eating pizza pie in the fridge or something. I don't know, eating the leftovers. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so
it's true.
So Dusty Brains, it's the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to play my song of the night. So I'm going to put you on hold, and then I'll get you after the song.
Right on. Looking forward to it.
All right. So there's old Dusty Brains, the guest for the night. So there you go. It's the bottom of the hour. Let's get to the song of the night. Tonight it's by the band C.H.E.W from Chicago, Illinois. The song is Noise Square from their 2020 album In Due Time. It's 9:28. After the song, we're still going to have open lines. If you have any spooky stories, any paranormal adventures, anything you'd like to share with the Tarantulas Dream TV audience, phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. We'll be back after the songs. Please enjoy the band C.H.E.W. There we go. That was the band C.H.E.W with their song Noise Square from their 2020 debut album In Due Time. Now, if you want to check out the band C.H.E.W, please check them out at chewpunks.bandcamp.com. And it does look like I have another caller here, so let's get right back into it. Hello, caller. You're on Tarantulas Dream TV.
Hi, this is Laura.
Oh, hello, Laura. What can I do for you?
So I have a spooky saga.
Spooky saga. All right.
Impart to the audience. Is this live?
This is live on the air. This is live. It's happening. It's going out coast to coast right now. You know, from east to west,
wow.
north to south.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh shoot.
It's all right.
This is live. My bad.
It's live, but it's not actual radio,
okay.
so you can curse if you want.
Okay, well that's a relief. Okay, so so this story is basically centered around a very haunting relationship I have with bees, like the animal bees, like the bug.
Yeah.
So it started a couple years ago. I woke up. I was living alone at the time, and I woke up with a single bee in my house. It was like the sound of it woke me up, and it was a really weird-looking bee. It had a pattern on the back. And it was, I don't know, there was just something about it that was very upsetting to me.
Oh, no. These ghosts. These goddamn gremlins in the machine. Let me see if I can get these people back over here. I'm besides myself right now, to be honest. I don't know what is going on over here. Let me see if I can get these people back on the phone, because I do want to hear this story. Phone call, Laura, if you're still on the air. I don't know what is going on with the ghosts in the machine. Honestly, it's a little spooky, to be honest. Let me see if I can get some of these people back over here. Hello, Dusty Brains.
That's me.
Oh man, there's some ghosts in the machine tonight. I'll tell you what, it is getting wild over here.
I know.
This is crazy.
I heard the beginning of Laura's story. I was excited to hear.
All right, I think they're calling back again. Let me see if I can do this. Remember the last time I tried to conference everyone together? How much of a disaster this was? Let me see if this works again. All right, hold on. All right, let's see. Let's see if this worked. Laura, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Laura,
wow,
are you there?
That call dropped.
And then Dusty Brains, you still there as well?
Oh, I'm right here.
There we go. We got everybody. Look at that. It worked. I'm sorry.
Man.
Look at that. Everyone is on the air all together. Look at that. Smooth as butter.
Oh, man.
Anyway, sorry. All right.
I can't wait. I'm excited to hear the story.
All right. So, Laura, take it away. Sorry about that little ghost in the machine interruption.
No, that's okay. It's about to escalate. So basically, I'll fast forward because it's a kind of long story. But basically, this single bee, never saw more than, one. The weird pattern on its back. I kept Googling for it, could never find one that looked like it. Made it back into my house 3 different times. And each time this bee was captured and carried away a further and further distance, to the point where the last time we drove it out, me and a friend drove it out 30 minutes away from my house and released it into the desert and ran back to the car and drove home,
Uh-huh.
Which sounds really excessive, but I was just like, this is getting crazy, and I can't. This is making me nuts. Why is this bee still inside? There's no evidence of it needing to be here. And so then, I came in that night after having released the bee 30 minutes in the desert, and I think I was just going through it at the time in other ways, and I came in and this bee was there, and I turned the light on, walking in at 1 a.m., and this bee was on the ground, and it made a buzzing sound. And I just flipped, and I took this giant box. I think it was like a giant box of minute rice or something.
Uh-huh.
And I just hit it. I killed it, and it just started twirling in this crazy, like, demonic circle is what it just starts spinning on the ground, and then I left. I ran. I went and stayed at someone else's house because there was something very wrong. And I came back the next day, and all the mess was there from this minute rice.
Oh, yeah.
But the bee was gone.
Wait, really? The bee was gone?
Yeah, so the bee body, the bee was dead when I left, and it was gone the next day, and I lived alone.
Dang.
I lived completely alone. I even called my landlord. I was like, did you, for any reason, come in to do any sort of work? Was there something? And he was like, no, what?
No, I didn't. I didn't remove any bee.
I couldn't tell him the story because I thought it would make me sound crazy. And now the result is, not long after that, I really messed up my back. And I didn't think those things were connected, but now every time I encounter a bee in my house or one, dies near me, it's like a forecasting of horrid events in my life.
Yeah.
Especially related to health. Right before my father passed, I was seeing all these, like, I would see dead bees, like, all over the place. And then right before I got kind of sick in the spring, not with COVID, but with something else.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a beehive on the side of my house, and some of the bees died in the process of removing it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I just feel like I feel a little haunted by them. I don't know. I think I regret killing that bee. Like, I should have maybe just let it stay there. Like, I think it was maybe a presence that was meant to be there. And there's something to be said about, like, persistent energies or living things.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder now all the time, I'm like, God, should I have just let that bee, like, live in the corner of my house? It wasn't, like, coming after me. Like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, dang.
That's my real life haunting.
Well,
it's
thank
kind
you.
of ongoing.
Yeah, thank you for sharing the bee story. And yeah, you're not the first person I've talked to in my life who's had a kind of a weird aversion and sort of a recurring bee issue where they see bees regularly, and they tend to be either dead or they tend to kind of be their own personal Mothman. And if people in the air who don't know what the Mothman is, it was sort of this supposed creature that kind of signaled an impending disaster or some kind of change or something like that. So, sorry to hear about the bee issue over there.
It's okay. It just feels like, yeah, I wonder about it. I did at one point bury one of them, like you were talking about with the Ouija board. Like, I buried one of the bees.
Yeah.
That has one of the occurrences. And it seemed, I don't know, it seemed to feel peaceful in that moment. Like, I was like, oh, maybe this will be good, but I don't know. It's hard to say. It's definitely one of those things where once you mess up and you invite something into your life, it's really hard to kick it out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Break that.
Oh, yes.
Anyway.
Let that be a lesson to everyone else on the air. It's hard to kick something out. It's easy to let something in. It's hard to get it out. So, well, thank you very much for sharing that story, Laura. I hope you have a great Halloween this year, whatever you're doing. If you're staying indoors, if you're dressing up privately in your own home and just kind of scaring the pants off of yourself, whatever you're doing, I hope you stay safe out there.
Cool. Thanks. You too. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
There you go. That was Laura with the bee story. That's a little spooky, don't you think, Dusty Brains?
Oh, absolutely. I think I listened to this podcast I highly recommend called Spooked. People just calling in with their various ghost stories and such. But I hear this common thread a lot of entities presenting themselves as a certain animal.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that, people have said from beyond the grave, okay, every time you see a butterfly, that's me trying to say hi, something like that. So
yeah.
I wonder if Laura has any, I don't know, people just trying to communicate via bee.
Via the bee.
The beehive.
Yeah.
The bayhive.
You say the bayhive? Yeah, via the beehive. So, at any rate, let me get to some of these comments over here because it does look like it's popping off in the chat over here on TarantulasDreamTV with your host Glenn Danzig and our special guest Dusty Brains. So, Honeycomb Viper, hello, Honeycomb Viper. Thank you for joining the show. Eggs and Eyes, thank you for joining the show. Lizzie Mouse, hello there. Eggs and Eyes, rest in peace, Randy, James Randy. Are you familiar with James Randy, Dusty Brains?
I don't think so. I think he's in the cemetery plot across the street from me. So.
Well, I mean, he did.
haven't met yet.
He just passed. So if he's already in the ground, that's probably one of the quickest burials I've ever heard. I think he died probably like 2 or 3 days ago. But yeah, he was a magician and a famous skeptic. He was famous for debunking like psychics and spoon benders and people like that. So he just passed away. So Eggs and Eyes was paying tribute to the great James Randy. El Christine, hello there, El Christine. Pumpkin carve and contemplate mortality. Is that Halloween plans over there? Pumpkin carving and contemplating mortality? Eggs and Eyes, it's the new Netflix and chill. Pumpkin carve and contemplate mortality. Yeah, that sounds like the perfect antidote to these dreary times. Pumpkin carving and contemplating mortality. Honeycomb Viper, 13-year-old me would have McFreakin' lost my mind to talk to Kurt Cobain's ghost. Well, it sounds like Honeycomb Viper. It sounds like you need to connect with old Dusty Brains over here, and maybe you can have a sequel over there, Dusty Brains, of trying to get Cobain on the line, you know?
Yeah, maybe we can try that for the next show.
Next show on Wednesday with my special guest, who's a local ghost hunter. So maybe they'll have some advice on how to communicate with dead rock stars. I don't know. I'm a little nervous to ask him. I'm a little nervous to ask him questions like that. I don't know if I will, because I don't know if they're going to be cool sports about it, or they're going to. I'm not trying to make fun of what they do. I'm actually really interested in it, but I don't want him to think I'm making fun of him. Anyway, Miles, a swell guy. Hello there, Miles. Eggs and Eyes, hi, Miles. Welcome to Demon City. Well, I guess we're living in Demon City over here. Jazzy Boho, Ouija board. They spelled it WEEGEE, and then board BORED. Wait, Ouija board. All right, thanks a lot, Jazzy Boho. Eggs and Eyes, don't ask me how I know, and that was in reference to Eggs and Eyes' comment. Ouija boards are really difficult to burn. See, now that's a comment that really begs some explanation, Eggs and Eyes. Maybe you explained it a little bit later on. No, you didn't. So Eggs and Eyes, Totataban, my in-studio producer, you got to share the stories. You can't just come in clutch with these nice comments and then not tell us what you're talking about. Miles, a swell guy. The Mars Volta had a weird experience with a Ouija board. Now, Dusty Brains, I know you're a big music fan. You like the Mars Volta?
Oh, yeah.
You know about their Ouija board experience?
Yes. Yeah, well, I know about the Haunted album, and, to be honest, I still haven't listened to it just because I don't want to be haunted, so... Yeah,
no, for sure.
It's really insane. Yeah, it's the whole making of that album is honestly pretty terrifying, so... Yeah. And the whole thing is, right, if you listen to it, then a part of that curse, you are taking upon a part of that curse.
Yeah.
That's a little spooky, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't really want to engage in spreading or becoming part of a curse at all. I don't know. That just doesn't seem very fun. But I don't know. I've never been part of a curse, I don't think, so maybe it's actually a lot of fun. Lizzie Mouse, any Ouija movie recommends? Like movies that feature a Ouija board? I don't know. I mean, there's Jumanji. It's not a Ouija board. It's a board. It's a different board game. But Jumanji's pretty sweet.
Honestly, pretty close though.
Yeah. So Lizzie Mouse, watch Jumanji. At least the first Jumanji. The rest of them don't have board games. I guess it's all video game based in the sequels to Jumanji. So stick with the original.
Lame.
Yeah. Let's see. Miles, a swell guy. The bees got him. Yes, the bees. Those lovely bees. Lizzie Mouse said, which of the bees? They have different roles. Worker is different. I don't know. El Christine, I'm assuming you're the Laura who's on the phone. Or my grandfather was a beekeeper, actually. Let us know about these bees. What kind of bee was it? Was it a worker bee? It's crazy over there. Let's see. Lizzie Mouse. My mom has seen birds, seen my dad passed. Wait, my mom has seen birds, seen my dad passed last November. Well, sorry to hear about your dad, Lizzie Mouse. But seeing birds, yeah, maybe that's your dad. I don't know. The people say that sometimes people come back as different kind of spirit animals. And Lizzie Mouse, I have both a fireplace and a fire pit. Can we test this? Oh, with the Ouija board. Well, if you get a Ouija board and record it, I will feature it on the show. Don't you worry. I will definitely. I'll definitely share that with the audience if you burn a Ouija board. But having said that, again, I can't recommend that unless it's, I guess, a fresh Ouija board and you haven't tried to communicate with any spirits or anything. I don't know. Does that sound about right to you, Dusty Brains? Dusty Brains?
Yeah, I would. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I got a little scared there that the gremlins got you again.
Boo. I would say, because also when I threw mine out, that was before I got rid of the spirit. So like you said, that's not the way to go about it. So don't burn it if you haven't, if you can burn it if you haven't already messed around with it. Otherwise, one word, really, sage. Just sage it all away. That's really the classic go-to,
Classic go-to, sage your house if you feel like if you kind of go a little overboard with this Ouija thing. If suddenly you got a flannel-clad Kurt Cobain just farting around on your couch for a week, maybe just burn a little sage and send him packing. Come on, Cobain, we got stuff to do. We can't clean up after you this whole time. Anyway, so it's about a little under 15 minutes to the top of the hour and the end of the show. So I have a personal ghost story experience that I'd maybe like to get your take on, Dusty Brains over here, and see if you have any kind of suggestions on this kind of thing. I don't know, suggestions. It's a story in the past. I don't really know what you're going to say. But yeah, so a number of years ago, I was living in a sort of like a studio apartment or studio house, I guess. It was kind of in this housing structure, this housing community that a friend actually owned. He owned all these little houses, and we used to call it the compound because it was essentially just all friends who lived there. So it was just myself and my landlord friend and my good friend Jimbo. Maybe some people know them on the air. I don't think he's on the air. And a bunch of other people. So I lived in this little studio apartment kind of thing, and it was myself, an ex-partner, and our dog. And so we were living there, and my ex, she had gotten a table from down the road from like a yard, sort of like a yard sale or something like that. And it was just this sort of like little, I guess you can call it sort of like a card table. And she brought it back to the house, and we brought it inside the house, and we were excited to have this little card table. And our dog, she freaked out. She just could not handle this table, and we were like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's a new thing in the house. Who knows? Maybe she's just freaked out because it smells weird. I don't know. Maybe it smells like cigarette butts or I don't know, T-bone steaks. I don't know. So anyway, so we have this table in the house, and she hates it. So we're like, okay, we'll put it outside. Maybe it just needs to air out. Maybe she just needs to get used to it. So we put the table outside in the front yard. Everything seems to be okay. But again, the dog will not go to the table. She will just absolutely not go to the table. So we're like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I don't know, whatever. We'll just kind of roll with it and see what happens. So anyway, it's a little later on in the evening. I'm there at the house by myself. It's probably roughly around 6 or 7 in the evening. It's definitely closer to winter time. I remember I had the door open. I believe I was washing some dishes. And again, the dog would not go towards the table. If you grabbed her and kind of tried to coerce her to go towards the table, kind of drag her a little bit, not violently or anything, just very gently drag her, she would not. She just wouldn't have it. She'd fight you tooth and nail. If you were a stranger trying to do it, she would have probably bitten you and ran away. Like, she was so violently opposed to going towards this table. So I was, very curious why, and I kind of just, again, chalked it up to dogs being weird, and I kind of just went about my business. I was washing dishes, and my landlord came over and was talking to myself and talking about the table, and kind of I was explaining to him how weird it was, and again, the dog would not go towards it. She was just barking at it, freaking out. My landlord's dog came out, and his dog as well started freaking out at this table. They were both freaking out at the table, and I knew they weren't freaking out at each other. They were both looking at the table. They were barking at the table. They couldn't care less about each other. So again, it was about this weird table situation. So I thought it was very weird, and I kind of was resigning myself to being like, well, maybe we just got to get rid of this table. Maybe it's just not going to be a thing. So I went inside the house, again, started washing dishes, and I remember out of the corner of my left eye, the peripheral vision, I remember feeling sort of this weird presence on me, or it felt sort of like a chill was hitting me, but it wasn't from outside. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't anything like that. It just felt just very cold all of a sudden. And I remember looking out of my left eye, my peripheral vision, and I sort of saw a really tall, like dark black, like figure, like very hazy, but very tall, it was hazy, but definitely it had enough substance to it that I could tell that there was something there. And I remember it slowly walking across kind of the doorway in my bedroom, kind of walked slowly towards this window, and the window was where the table was on the outside. It was walking towards the window. And I remember suddenly turning my head to look, and then realized that there was something there. So I ran to the room, thinking maybe it was my dog just kind of like, I don't know, walking, and I don't know, my eyes were playing tricks on me. But no, she was outside the entire time, still freaking out at this table. So I freaked out. I freaked the F out, and I took the table, put the dog inside. I took it over to the dumpster, put it right behind the dumpster. I just left it there. I kind of just ran back to the house, kept the dog inside, and from then on, the dog was fine. Nothing was amiss, nothing crazy. And the next day, I woke up and I looked outside, and the table was gone. Someone took it, or it disappeared. And that was the tale of the haunted table.
Wow.
There you go. Crazy.
It's terrifying, honestly, because it's I've heard this story before. Actually, also on that podcast that I listened to, there was just an episode recently about someone who found this little like porcelain lamb that was just like sitting outside of a dumpster, and he thought, oh, what a nice little decor. Takes it home. Big mistake, So it seems like things can really attach themselves onto objects. So, I can totally see. And dogs definitely have a sense, I've heard that before, too, that, I don't know why that is, but...
I don't know. They say cats are cats have the sense to see the other side, the spirit world, but I feel like dogs, I don't know if they necessarily have that the sight, but they have the smell. They have they have the big nose, the big wet nose to really sniff out the ghosts and the goblins and the gremlins and all that kind of stuff. So I was definitely happy to have my dog at the time. I was glad that she was definitely not playing any games. She did not want to have anything to do with that spooky table. And I've told this story a number of times to a bunch of different people, and I feel like the gravity of the situation, it kind of gets lost in the idea that it's a haunted table. I don't know. It's not like, again, like you were saying, like this podcast you listen to, would they say they found a little porcelain...
Like a porcelain lamb. Yeah, that sounds a little bit spookier than just like a table, but...
Yeah, porcelain lamb, like that sounds effed up, but like, yeah, it's just like a card table. I don't know. Someone was probably rolling weed on there. I don't know. And the dog could smell the narcotics, and she freaked out. I don't know. But anyway, so I don't know what happened to that table. It's gone. I initially had planned to leave it behind the dumpster and then wake up super early in the morning and then driving it out to like the dump or something, just to get it away as far as I could away from me without destroying it, and just kind of leaving it there or something, because I also didn't want someone else taking it and then potentially having whatever was attached to this table end up at their house or something, and then it kind of comes back to me as kind of being part of this spread of this whatever it was. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. Someone took it, or it walked away on its own. I don't know. So there you go. That's the story of the haunted table. So anyways, we're about 5 minutes to the top of the hour and the end of the show. So Dusty Brains, I want to thank you for coming on the part one of the Tarantulas Dream TV Halloween Spooktacular. I'm hoping you had a good time telling your story. I kind of feel like I can hear it in your voice, Dusty Brain, and maybe it's just because you're centuries old, centuries long dead. Maybe you're dust in dustier areas, and maybe your mouth is just full of dust or something. But you sound a little. Are you frightened, Dusty Brain? Does talking about these ghost things, does that bring up a fright at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like it's fun to talk about, and I listen to that podcast, but I still usually just keep those podcasts for the daytime.
Right. Oh yeah.
So it's scary business, and it's still very interesting to talk about because so many people have so many similar experiences, and I feel like it starts to accumulate to something that, we're on to something here. So I still have that curiosity, but it's spooky, what can you say? It's scary times.
It's very spooky, and ultimately, when you're talking about something a little more serious, like the idea of intention and bringing in into your world spirits or energies or what have you, it's a very real feeling, and I feel like even talking about these kind of things, ghost stories, spooky occurrences, sometimes it kind of opens you up. I wouldn't say to necessarily opens you up to like a ghost or a spirit or anything, but it kind of opens up your brain to kind of having these weird dark feelings and these kind of especially talking about it at night too. You start to feel a little that spookiness inside of your body. But honestly, it is the season. Halloween is fun, but it's also it can be serious as well. So these spooky matters, they're no laughing business. Hopefully no one on the air had a good time tonight. This is no laughing business. This is serious. But
yeah.
anyway, so old Dusty Brains, anything you'd like to leave the audience with tonight? Any parting words before you crawl back into the grave?
I'm going to say have a rockin' Halloween, but keep some sage in your pocket. You never know when you're going to need it. Yeah,
a big old like lump of sage in your pocket. Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, I guess, if you got big pockets. I don't know if anyone on the air is still wearing cargo pants or something. I don't know, but you might have a problem shoving that into your pants. One thing, kind of off topic, but a lot of jeans and stuff that are made like, I guess you'd call them like girl jeans, quote unquote girl jeans or whatever. I don't know. They don't really have pockets. Don't you find that weird, Dusty Brains?
I really do. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
That's so weird.
Keep sage in your purse. In your or just hanging around your neck along with like a cross or something, for the vampires.
Or pull like a mummy, like the Mummy remake where that dude had like a necklace full of all these different like religious symbols on there. Just wear them all. I don't know, even if they conflict with each other, just wear them all just in case. You don't know what you're gonna
make a utility belt. Just keep all the major religious symbols at you at all times. So
yeah, just cover all your bases. But anyways, thanks so much for being on the air, Dusty Brains. And we'll talk some other lifetime when you rise from the grave yet again sometime.
Thanks for having me. Goodbye.
Goodbye, spooky. There you go. That was old Dusty Brains giving us a phone call a few times, actually. I don't know what was going on with the old Ghost in the Machine tonight. Honestly, technology, it's great, but it also is awful sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't work for you. Anyway, so that's the end of night one of our Halloween Spooktacular over here on Tarantulas Dream TV. I'll be back on Wednesday with a special guest, another interview with a real live ghost hunter, a paranormal expert. So I'll have them on the line on Wednesday. But don't forget tonight from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. over on 99.1 FM Downtown Radio, Tarantulas Dream Radio broadcasting over the airwaves. So if you want to check that out, listen to 2 hours of some rockin' tunes as well as talking about UFOs over there. So please tune into that if you'd like to stay up late and continue the spooky adventures with your host Glenn Danzig / Samba. So anyways, please, if you go outside, wear a mask, social distance if you can, and remember, it is a weird, spooky world. Take care.